550. Slight right 100.
Stephen Roche goes international rallying with his director sportif, Patrick VALKE. They join 75 other crews in the Carling Rally of the Lakes, in which they'll drive some of the greatest stages in European rallying. The World Cycling Champion of '87 goes through the usual accreditation. He even pays the insurance levy. This will only be his third event. The first two were in France, but Killarney is different. His car is a near standard Peugeot 205.
I'm first of all a bike rider, so I've got to kind of have very little time to be going around the circuit, getting to know them. Whereas some drivers have been around 10, 20 times for the last 8 years. I think to be a good bike rider, you've got to be very professional. And to be good in a car, you've got to be professional as well, because on a bike there's risk and the car there's risk also. So you've got to have, make sure everything is right security-wise and don't take too many risks, and make sure everything is roadworthy. And I think as regards the road itself, the bike is in corners, it's very much like the car, although in a car you're driving much faster. But some of us do. We drove in 2 small rallies over in France, and we kind of bought the car, so it's just kind of making the car pay for itself and kind of finishing off the winter's enjoyment. Like some guys go golfing, other guys go playing football, other guys go shooting, and I go rallying.
Conditions on Saturday are terrible. This could be the most difficult rally of the Lakes ever, but there's no going back. Already they've wrecked the 20 special stages, including classics like Molls Gap, Tim Healy Pass and Carroll Lake. This year's rally has the quality of stages that many more famous internationals would envy.
I suppose my thinking this year was coloured somewhat by the talk which was going around and by the various moves which were being made towards the upgrading of the event. And we obviously had to plan some of the things that we would do if the event were to be seriously upgraded. And things like including more stages with more access to spectators, possibly making the rally concentrate more on the classic stages and omitting some of the lesser known stages.
It's just unbelievable out there on those roads this morning. I've never seen so much water in all my life. And we actually took the car just for a quick run up to the bottom of the Molls Gap this morning just to see how it felt on the wet tyres. We turned around at the car park at the start of the stage and came back down what I thought to be quite cautiously, and on the slippery tarmac we went off and hit a tree and buckled all the back of the suspension, and we've just changed it now. So I think it's fair to say we should be one of the most cautious competitors at Molls Gap this morning.
This is wetter than I've seen it in a long, long time. And we were hoping for a bit of wet, but really I think we've overdone it this time.
Well, I'm a bit dubious at the moment with not having driven the car very much, with it being its first event and really coming down here, isn't it?
I think anybody really in the top 10 is capable of winning the event. Obviously James Cullen, after his Donegal run, will be going very well. Phil Collins in the Cosworth Sierra will be very competitive well, but I think anybody really in the first 10 is capable of winning the event this weekend.
Well, I've been given the opportunity to drive by Nissan, a beautiful Bluebird, and I'm doing so on behalf of the Arthritis Foundation, and it's to highlight the work that the foundation are doing for arthritis sufferers throughout the country in raising money. And of course I'm here to start the rally, and hopefully we will see great developments in this particular rally, making it much more prestigious in terms of European and perhaps World Championships eventually.
The Minister is driving a sweeper car, so he sees off the top crew of Austin Mchale and Ronan McNamee shortly after 11:30. Phil Collins in the pink Sierra Cosworth is next to leave the start line. Next in line are the Opels of James Cullen and Vincent Bonner from Donegal, and still the talk is about the likely conditions.
All cautiously, long rally ahead of us, 230 stage miles. We'll wait for it to see what happens. This is the 9th rally of the Lakes, we've never been as wet as this.
Flat over crest 100. Straight over crest 50. Slight right over crest. Plus fast right. Plus fast left over crest 200.
Very soon, Austin Mchale shows his talent with the beautifully prepared Opel Manta 400, despite the lack of intercom with the co-driver. Phil Collins is only a second off the pace. Are we in for a great battle? As the weather improves, it's Manta versus Sierra. James Cullen is third overall on that first stage, Molls Gap. Vincent Bonner is fourth. Others are driving well within their capabilities as they go downhill after the gap. Indeed, the road is drier here, so cautiously does it. And cautiously, as he promised, Stephen Roche comes bowling along with his 1.3-litre Peugeot. He takes over 14 minutes to drive the 12.7 miles of wet and twisting tarmac into Kenmare. He is by no means slowest. On stages such as this, the co-driver has his job to do. He'll read the road for the driver, remind him of the dangers and the difficulties. After a few more stages, Austin Mchale is over 30 seconds to the good over James Cullen and Phil Collins, and Bob Fowden is fourth in his Group N Sierra Cosworth. Vincent Bonner and Michael Barrable have trouble with their Opels. And Stephen Roche is still driving within the top 50. To finish first you have to finish. Castletownbere is the service location for those still running, a hospitable halt with many signs of the main industry.
We're leading at the moment, Michael, by something I think about 20 seconds or thereabouts. I actually think Phil Collins about 15 seconds behind us after the straight.
We had a big problem with brakes on Molls Gap plus the water, which was very, very dangerous. Very quick stage and the water, it's all hidden. And if you're really committed, you would just be heading for a big accident. It was quite dangerous now.
2 stages were good, were wet and scary, but good. We were on wet tyres. But the Healy Pass was very dry over the far side, and the car's very heavy and very hard on wet tyres when the roads are dry. We dropped 14 seconds to Austin down the pass.
And what of Stephen Roche?
The third is good, but he's not Vatanen. Pas de jour, mais une fois cette fois.
Let's go, petit saut.
Et puis, avant départ de l'autre spécial, elle a fait quelque chose, elle était un peu noyée au tournant sur 3 pattes, ouais.
Young and old are interested in the cycling superstar. Stephen is his usual happy self.
Thank you very much. Good to see you again. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
The car is fettled by his French mechanics, and Stephen just smiles.
Can't even on the front page, Michael. Can't even on the front page. The first time I've ever been off the front page. You know, it's nothing any more than I thought this morning, but I think it's the road of the rally this year. I've never driven it before, but the road this year in the rally for me is fantastic for any rally man. And it's great for a spectator because you can see it in so many places. Like, it's a great organisation.
Then it's into the 3 stages in darkness. Old hazards, new challenges. Mchale, Cullen, Collins, Spowden and John Lyons in the Group N Lancia Delta make up the top 5 at the end of day 1's 10 stages. On Sunday morning, Molls Gap is revisited with the road still wet. Again, Austin Mchale is flying. James Cullen is still feeling the effects of a serious operation only 7 weeks ago, yet he's prepared to try hard. Phil Collins is now 3 minutes off the pace. Dan Daly and David Mead are out. Having changed the gearbox in the Sierra, Bob Fowden is trying hard again. John Lyons is still chasing him for Group N honours with his Lancia Delta. And now in the top 10 are Bernard O'Brien and Ken Lyons in Escort, and the Renault 5 Turbo, driven by Welshman John Price. giant killer is Philip Armstrong in his tiny Talbot Samba. He is 15th overall. Among the spectators today is Sean Kelly, the world #1 cyclist. Is he here to cheer on colleague Roche or to learn about this fascinating sport? Today, Stephen is getting deeper into the groove. At VALKE, Austin Mchale shows his real class. He's smooth, precise and very, very quick. That combination is the hallmark of a professional. No matter how Cullen tries now with the Escort, he can't match the pace up front. And even the Sierra Cosworth can't help Phil Collins. Bob Fadden is happy in 4th, hoping that some of those in front of him may fall off the wayside. John Lyons is still 5th in the Lancia. Bernard O'Brien from Skibbereen is 7th. And Philip Armstrong's Samba is still surprising many. Eamon Boland of New Ross is equally impressive. This is Don Bailey from the Isle of Man. And Ed Colton is competing with his new Peugeot 309 GTI. Even in wet winter, Kerry has its charm and special attractions. This is great rally country. How much better this event would be 2 months earlier. If it was given major status, it could entice thousands to the kingdom. Stephen Roche has found his challenger in Les Alfrey of Warwickshire in the Group 2 Peugeot 205. And Stephen rises to the challenge, pulling back precious seconds as the Sunday wears on. A salute to Sean Kelly. It's greeted with a smile, but what does Sean know about this sport?
I've seen it on television. The first time I've been at rallying, it's quite impressive. The way they can throw the cars around the corner. I think it's something that you need a lot of practice at, and you need to put a long time into it to get anything out of it.
Would you like to have a go at it yourself?
Well, yeah, I think that's one of my big faults. One of my problems, I drive a car very fast. I wouldn't mind having a go at it myself. Yeah. I think on the wet roads it wouldn't be very, easy to control, but I think on a dry road you would get that speed of the car.
Yeah. Now tell me about your cycling, what you plan to do in the cycling in 1989. Have you got your plans straightened out yet?
Well, I haven't got the team sorted out yet. I'm still talking with 3 or 4 teams there, and it's dragging on a bit, and hopefully, within the next week or next fortnight, it will definitely have to everything will have to be tied up, and the season is, much the same as last year, just Tour of Spain, I think. I'm trying to get that amazing go to Giro, Tour of Italy.
And now at Beaufort, Austin Mchale is looking a likely winner.
Not taken away from James. James went very well yesterday, and I admire for the speed he was going, even though we were going cautiously, we were careful. Now, we went a little bit better this morning, so we put out a bit of a lead now. We're about a minute and a half, I think, ahead of James.
There are now only 4 stages remaining, and even the weather is showing signs of improving. rally progresses, Stephen Roche grows in confidence. He's now overall in the low 30s, and there's not a scratch on the Roche-owned rally car. It's here at Ahado that Austin Mchale really smells the victory laurels. His first international win of the year. He is now over 90 seconds in hand. But James Cullen still tries. Phil Collins from Hereford is now 4 minutes off the pace. And John Lyons accepts a fine 5th behind Bob Bowden. Limerick's Ken Lyons is 6th with his Ford Escort. Soon for Stephen Roche, it will be the final countdown. Only 2 stages to go and 28th overall.
Yes, we're very nervous yesterday because the big car starting behind us, very nervous. Then today, once we get the lads there and a few of the others, get our own little race, like in a race, we're in a race. So we're kind of second times and getting ahead, getting back, and it's a good bit of crack. Rallying is dangerous, but it's only as dangerous as the drive. So we drove fairly careful and made a good rally. We didn't win the rally, but we had a great time. And of course, it's a pity it's so expensive, but you know, I'm sure you can get by on a small budget.
Austin Mchale budgeted for victory with the Opel Manta 400. It was a welcome win, and it sets him up for next year's season of events. Austin showed in the Carling International what a superb driver he is, even in trying conditions.
We're trying to put a day together to do the Open Championship. We haven't finalised it yet, but hopefully we'll do the Open Championship, which is the British, and the Irish Championship together next year.
We've both worked hard at the pace notes recently, and I've been trying very hard to, you know, show them what I know about pace notes, and I think it's all come to good.
Okay, are you going to stay with him next year?
If the money's right, I'll stay with it.